Hold on to your phones, because what if I told you that Kendra Robinson, the shrewd lawyer who supported young Jock through all of the cheating rumors, baby mama scandals, and professional setbacks, has revealed something shocking that may potentially put this man out of business? How, after all, could you go from being a power couple to taking over my life in just 6 months? Yes, exactly. By purportedly removing your pregnant wife's announcement because you were afraid of the criticism or the baby. This is no longer hip-hop drama and love. This is the courtroom thriller levels of messy meets a Lifetime film. Why did Kendra remove a picture of her lovely baby belly as if it had never been there? Why is there a podcast tape that was released that shows Kendra crying in front of the camera and Jock's startling response to her pregnancy? And why is Jock being pulled around the internet like a cheap wig from a beauty supply store? Jock, we're going to go into secrets, emotional betrayals, a lady standing in her truth at last, and wishes that remained buried. More than simply tea. This is a complete and utter kettle explosion. Hold on tight. We're making everything public. Okay, family, this is not your typical drama surrounding a birth announcement, so let's dig into the muck. This is Kendra Robinson's nonsense, young Jock, the decline of loyalty, the tragedy of trust, and the emergence of petty babies, daddy energy. First, let's go back in time. Aren't we all familiar with Kendra Robinson? The powerful lawyer, the woman who remains standing next to Jock's bewildered hairline and even more bewildered life choices, appeared like a complete boss. In the midst of all of his love and hip-hop turmoil, she has been that cool, collected queen. While Jock is out here in the springtime, scattering more seeds than a lawnmower, Kendra has been like she's in the Matrix. She avoids bullets, baby mamas, and disastrous choices. However, even Neo was unable to avoid this betrayal. You know, only a few days ago, it all began. When Kendra suddenly publishes the photo, it's a quiet, serene, innocent little Instagram scroll. And believe me when I say that there was no vacation, flex, or flashback. No sleigh in the courtroom. No, it was a full-on goddess level of gleaming and glowing. Maternity portrait. At the VMAs, Sis gave us all the "I'm ready to be a mama" feelings by placing her palm over her tummy like a bonk. The caption only gives a vague indication of fresh starts. But baby! Instantly, the internet sprang into labor, like they were. Trying to RSVP to the baby shower, fans poured into the comments. This is something you deserve. Queen, congratulations. Peace at last. The group, thank God she's getting her happy ending, because let's not forget, this woman has been through hell with Jock. People on the internet are saying in relief. Let's do a quick messy flashback, shall we? Multiple baby mamas. That time, he subtly proposed, but it looked like a dare. Public cheating rumors that even Stevie Wonder could see. Arguments that felt more staged than a Tyler Perry reunion episode. We all thought, finally, she's stepping into her own story. When Kendra posted that pregnancy reveal, however, she stood next to Jock like a loyalty badge stitched on a heartbreak jacket. Defended him, smiled for the cameras, and maintained her dignity while Jock played musical chairs with accountability. At last, something for her. Happiness, however, was fleeting. Since that post disappeared minutes after it was published, much like Jock's rap career, poof, removed, lost. Similar to Jock's most recent smash song, Kendra's page was completely silent, no explanation, no clarification, no story update. You are already aware of what occurs when a famous person removes a shocking post. It's more than a technical error. That is a serious red flag. Wavering. In high definition, the speculation exploded. Boy, according to some, it might have been posted too soon. Perhaps she was waiting for the ideal moment. Some speculated it was a publicity stunt. Jock most likely forced her to remove it, according to other conspiracy theorists on Love and Hip Hop Twitter. They were correct, as the actual tea didn't Poor until the streets received their hands on a podcast clip that was leaked. And when I say that this clip went viral like a spiritual slap from Andy Yanla, I mean that everyone was stunned, breathless, and shivering. It was from an unreleased podcast episode that was most likely supposed to air in a few weeks, but some shady angel leaked it ahead of time. And Kendra's unadulterated emotion left everyone on the internet speechless. She is graceful but apprehensive. As she sits across from the host, unaware of the impending emotional earthquake, the host smiles. "Congratulations, Kendra," she says pleasantly. "I take it you're expecting." And that's when it happened. Everyone. Kendra's entire physique transformed. Her smile faded, and the brightness vanished. Her eyes were shiny, her hands were shaking, and her lips were quivering as if she were suppressing a scream that had been imprisoned for months. She looked down, then she got to her feet like in a sad play. A pause, followed by a low, broken, honest voice. He removed the post. The host appears perplexed. Wait. Kendra's tone falters. Jock, he wanted no one to find out. This baby was not what he wanted. The internet imploded with that sound, because everything changed at that instant. Kendra was no longer merely a formidable lawyer. She was more than simply the unconcerned spouse. She was a pregnant woman who had been harmed by the man she trusted the most. She discloses that she is 6 months pregnant. 6, indeed. And that the emotional equivalent of a closed door was Jock's response. She said, crying, when I told him. He didn't grin. He didn't give me a hug. He said nothing endearing. Luck, apparently, informed her that this was not part of their plan instead. That they had too much going on already. The kicker is about to happen. It would be worse with a baby. Even worse. Take a moment to absorb that word. This man told his own wife that he has fathered enough kids to be eligible for a Jock and the Babysitters Club spinoff. There was an issue with her pregnancy. And you know what? Kendra refrained from rushing to the shaded areas. She didn't make disparaging remarks on Twitter. No, she didn't share cryptic quotes on Instagram, such as, "I'm too grown for this." Sis said nothing. She processed. She sobbed. Despite the fact that the man who was holding her baby bulge wanted to be peaceful, she, as if it were a misprint, the person who was meant to help her, erased her joy. Even though she broke down, she still showed up for the podcast, spoke though, truth, and remains strong. I understand your thoughts now. Perhaps there is a miscommunication. Oh, we're just getting started, my dear. Because it was what Kendra said next that really turned this situation into something horrific. She stated, "He assured me that this would destroy our relationship and that he wasn't, and that's not a misunderstanding." That's a man treating fatherhood like a gym membership, convenient when it's fun, avoidable when it's difficult. And the interneto, they didn't just react, they revolted. But before we get into the leaked reactions, fake reports, anonymous sources, and online chaos, let's take a moment to reflect on the betrayal. Let's set the scene for what happened after Kendra's truth broke the carefully controlled silence. After that podcast clip appeared on the timeline, it didn't just spread. It erupted, and within hours, Kendra's name was trending and all caps. That's just Act 1. Let's not get into the leaked reactions, the whispers from inside sources, and the digital firestorm that followed. Investigating TikToks were being made, fan edits were being posted. Twitter threads were being sent in faster than Jock's excuses. And hashtags like #StandWithKendra and #CancelJoie went viral overnight. The question on everyone's mind was one we've heard far too often. How can a man who's had more opportunities than a board still mess up the one woman who had his back? Insiders came crawling out of the woodwork, and you know how they do. According to one so-called source, who was allegedly a former assistant to someone in Jock's circle, a friend close to the family, a hairstylist who used to work with Kendra's cousin, and a producer from the show who saw it all All of them suddenly had tea so hot it could steam your phone screen. This was not the first time Jock had attempted to conceal something this significant. He's always been image obsessed, they said. Off camera, he didn't want Kendra's pregnancy to make him look like he lost control of the narrative. But when the cameras are rolling, he plays the perfect husband, according to another anonymous leak. Jock believed that a new baby would ruin his current situation. No one knows exactly what that situation is. But let's say that rumors are circulating about a mystery woman who has been spotted with Jock at a number of events in Atlanta. Then came the fake receipts. Screenshots of alleged texts between Jock and an unidentified person began going viral, with messages like she's doing too much and this baby wasn't part of the plan. It doesn't even matter if those texts were real, edited, or entirely made up by a bored fan using Photoshop because the internet had already made up its mind. The public had turned against Kendra, and she was receiving thousands of supportive messages. In the meantime, Jock remained silent while fans flooded her old posts with prayer emojis, heart emojis, and lengthy paragraphs about how she deserved better. Some even started GoFund-style pages called Kendra's Freedom Fund, which were again phony and exaggerated, but perfectly in line with how social media operates when a woman publicly breaks down. When you don't speak up for yourself, the world will write the story for you. And that's exactly what happened. His Instagram is still stuck on an old promo for his club appearance, and his Twitter is a ghost town. He hasn't made a statement, rebutted a podcast, or even posted a lazy respect our privacy post. Do we know if it's true? Of course not. But in the world of celebrity gossip, truth is just whatever goes viral first. Then came the podcasts. Oh, the same digital world that helped leak the fabricated claims that Jock tried to pay Kendra to keep things private. That he offered her a deal to keep things quiet until after the new season of Love and Hip Hop aired, and that he was more concerned about his reputation than her mental health. Influencers, commentators, and TikTok tea spillers all had opinions, theories, and sources regarding Kendra's suffering. According to one particularly popular podcast, Jock was heard arguing on the phone outside a Buckhead restaurant, yelling something along the lines of, "She wasn't supposed to do this." No sound, no evidence. However, the video received 500,000 views in just 48 hours. Not to mention Kendra's phony friend who went live on Instagram and declared, "You guys don't even know half of it." That live lasted for 22 minutes, full of ambiguous gestures, dramatic sighs, and zero actual facts. But viewers ate it up like leftovers from last season's drama. At this point, it didn't even matter what was real and what wasn't. The narrative was set. Jock was trying to get her to get rid of the baby, saying it would ruin his image. Kendra equals victim, Jock equals villain. And the longer he remained silent, the more permanent that story became. The public's reactions were not just social media noise. They were bitter, with people demanding that Jock be removed from all of his shows, clubs reportedly considering canceling his appearances, and even a phony blog claiming that a brand he was working with was fired following the scandal. Once more, there were no receipts, just rumors, but they were circulating quickly. Kendra, on the other hand, continued to avoid social media. No second post, no new interview, and remained silent. But this time it was effective because the world was speaking for her. Amidst all of this digital chaos, additional facets of the story started to emerge. Fake documents, hazy screenshots, and half-baked direct messages all paint a picture of a man who allegedly attempted to erase his responsibilities rather than simply ignoring them. Some sources even started bringing up legal issues, claiming that Kendra spoke with lawyers about custody as well as the deleted post. If the rumors are to be believed, she is getting ready to raise this child with or without Jock, and she's making sure she has every right protected from the start. Once more, there have been no court filings or actual legal actions confirmed, but the word custody was enough to send the internet into a tailspin once more. People were discussing whether Jock had ever been a good father to his other children, digging up old interviews and resurfacing old love and hip-hop clips. The court of public opinion had rendered its decision. Jock had no attorney. And every eye roll and casual remark was now evidence that he had always been garbage. Just when you thought it could get any worse, a second clip leaked. Purportedly from later in the same podcast episode, in which Kendra states, "I've been going to every doctor's appointment alone, every ultrasound, each examination. I wait alone. While I sit in the waiting area, people were calling her the Black Prenatal Mary, saying that Jock would regret this for the rest of his life. And maybe he will, but for now, he's still silent. And we're still watching." That quote alone became the subject of memes, quotes, videos, and think pieces. Bloggers dubbed it the saddest sentence of 2015. Twitter was in full meltdown mode. The age of receipts, ring lights, and revenge reels. You don't just break a woman's heart, erase her joy and expect the world to forget. And while Jock's fans are still clinging to what's left of his reputation, the rest of us are bracing for the fallout because if the rumors are real and that's where part 3 starts, people. Because the storm isn't over, yet tit's just getting started. However, things didn't end there. If anything, this was the beginning of the unraveling. After that, Liv went viral, Kendra Robinson stopped hiding and began revealing actual receipts. The repercussions aren't just emotional, they could be legal, financial, and irreversible. "I was trying to save you when you didn't even want to save yourself," she wrote in another post, and those words struck a deep chord. She claimed that young Jock had a pattern of not just betraying her once, but of repeated disappointments, manipulation, and public humiliation that had worn her down emotionally and mentally. Insiders started talking in private circles, claiming that Kendra's close friends had been warning her about young Jock for years, telling her that he was a habitual cheater, a man who couldn't handle commitment, and someone who was still trying to live like he was in his 20s while pushing 40. However, Kendra wanted to believe that it wasn't just shade, but rather a cry from someone who gave everything to a man who didn't know what to do with a real one. Let's talk about how this affected her career. Kendra is not just a reality star. She is a respected lawyer. However, being associated with young Jock and his mess began to reflect on her, and potential clients began to doubt her judgment. She had faith and patience, but in return, she received heartbreak. Kendra had to reclaim her story after courtroom rumors followed her. And even on Love and Hip Hop, people didn't see her as Kendra, the lawyer, but rather as the person who remained with Jock after all that infidelity. She began concentrating on her legal career once more, publicly distancing herself from anything joke-related. No more joint appearances, no more club support. Producers attempted to persuade Kendra to do one more season with young Jock to share their recovery story. But she informed them bluntly, there is no healing according to sources, happenings, and most definitely no more Love and Hip Hop romance storylines. I'm done acting for the cameras. Finally going to say it aloud. This man destroyed my life. Young Jock, meanwhile, attempted to maintain his dignity. He appeared on several podcasts on growth and the mistakes made by males when they are unable to deal with actual ladies. He also included some phony deep statements, such as, "Where a king does not lead, a queen cannot flourish." However, people saw through it because Jock had something genuine, and he let it fall apart for attention, power, and cheap thrills. The world now knows that while Jock was away playing court, Kendra Robinson was attempting to establish a kingdom. Remember Jester? That Kendra also revealed how Jock's family permitted his actions. She described how his own buddies encouraged him to cheat or how some of his baby moms would gaslight her. All of them chuckled behind my back. She claimed that although they believed me to be simply another girl, I was the one who always cleaned up his mess. The worst part is still to come. Kendra disclosed that she had assisted Jock in resolving a significant legal matter. something the general public never even knew existed. Heard if she ensured that Jock's name remained clean by using her resources, relationships, and reputation. In return, he dragged her through the mud. Even Jock's own supporters started to change sides. Comments like, "Jock is a complete clown. Kendra saved him from himself. She's a lawyer and still got cheated on." Instagram and Twitter. In her final post about the entire drama, Kendra Robinson stated, "Healing isn't pretty." The culture changed and people began to view her as a symbol of strength, regaining control and refusing to settle. She didn't burn out. Instead, she burned bridges she was never meant to cross in the first place. It's solitary. It's unpleasant. I own it now, even though it's messy. I deserve it. As for the fans, they have come together in support of her, and women all over the internet have begun sharing their own Kendra moments when they decided to leave toxic relationships, reclaim their own personal space, and walk away with their heads held high. And that silence afterward wasn't defeat. Peace and choose themselves. Rumor has it that Kendra Robinson is working on a book deal, a memoir about her journey from heartbreak to healing, and the world is ready for it because she did more than just expose a man. She revealed a pattern, a cycle that so many women have experienced but were unable to articulate. Now those words are all over the place. Do you think young Jock has truly changed? Or is this just another chapter in a long pattern of betrayal? Let us know in the comments below if you're shocked by everything Kendra Robinson just revealed. If you want to avoid missing any of these explosive updates, make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. We've got more truth bombs dropping soon that you won't want to miss. Stay tuned, stay woke, and in the realm of hip and love, keep in mind, nothing is ever truly concealed.